Where's the pick? Hold on. Some delay. Sounds great. Alright, so let's clear that. I realize I haven't even started talking yet. Sounds like I'm a little out of tune now. Okay, I want us to work through something together. I just want to, normally, my teaching over the years has proceeded, and also my learning, though, has proceeded by more or less coming up with something, some method where I just think, well, I think that would work. Something about this seems like it should work in achieving whatever goal it is. I don't know, like a week and a half ago, when I was hanging with my friend Rich Roston, cool dude, has a 52 telly. That's cool too. I think he has the first Han telly also. I think he's got literally the prototype. He's got some other cool stuff. So, and is a very fine guitar player, despite what he will tell you. So, I don't. We were working on something, and it occurred to me. He's texting me right now. It occurred to me a new way of working on ear training for a student that maybe gets straight to the thing that you're really after when you're working on ear training. But here's the thing: there's always a sort of refining process to however I teach something, right? Like I'll come up with something, I think this might work, right? But if you heard me teach it 2 years later, there would be something different about it. There would be some, like new terminology or something I realized, okay, that's not working for anybody. I need to switch this out. So rather than us wait for 2 years for me to think of something, I thought maybe we would all be guinea pigs, and you could report back in the comments, how you think this is working for you. Did you grow any superfluous appendages? you know, did you know, and I mean after you've really drilled it and stuff. So let me know how it's going and help me refine it. But here's the idea. Oh yeah, it needs a name. I was gonna say calibration. Uh, calibrate ear calibration instead of just ear training. Ear calibration is what we're gonna call it. We're calibrating your ears to hear the chords in a key, and then some. You can do this without the chords in a key. All right, but here's the idea. All right, let's go to the key of C, default key for some. All right, I'm gonna look at my guitar instead of at the thing. So, all right, chords in the key of C. So, 1, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. There's another 3. There's 4. Just gonna line them up on the E string. There's a 7 here if you want it. But by the way, the voicing I'm using, right? Look, big E bar chord. I'm just doing the root, the 5th, and the 3rd right here. Very simple. But you can do the whole thing if you want. It doesn't matter. That's not germane to what we're going to be doing here. But let's just do this. You can do the 7 if you want, but I don't think it's that important, or at least early on, it's that important. Oh man, I owe some people t-shirts. I have these Fantastic Boom t-shirts, and this one's very wrinkly. It's been in my car. I got a new car. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you with that, but a company called the Brand Movement in Austin did this design. It's based on the line from All the Words I Know, terrarium thrown in the sea. So it's really cool. So I don't have that many of them anymore, but I need to get these out. I shouldn't have said that, because you know what I hate doing, and the people who've waited forever for t-shirts can tell you, apparently I hate going to the post office. I can't stand it. So anyway, so I need an assistant if anybody's in the Dallas area. Calibration ear training. Now that I've rambled for 8 minutes. All right, so I'm just doing these, but the exact voicing isn't that important. But this voicing is a great sort of default jumping off point, because that makes it, you know what? Separate video. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to do 2 springs on this, because I love the utter floppiness. Anyway, 6, 5. Oh, so 1, 6, 5, 4, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2. All right, we got the chords in the key. Okay. In ear training, it's important, I think, to be able to recognize single notes. That's important, and maybe we'll do a separate video, a version of this. That's a separate video. Now you got me thinking. I'm about to. Anyway, yeah, something like that. Yeah. All right. 10 minutes and we haven't gotten to it. This video sucks. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want it up there, where you're putting them isn't the important thing. Calibration ear training. Calibration something. Help me out. Help me out with a name. All right. 1, 6, 5, 4. Here's what we want to do. Can you hear it before I play it? Can you hear the 6 chord before I play it? Can you hear this 5? Can you hear this 4? Can you hear this 3? All right, let's put them out of order. 1. Can you hear this 4? Can you hear this 6? Can you hear this 5? Can you hear this 4? And that's the game. You're thinking the chord number that you're about to play, but before you play it, you stop for a second, 2 seconds. See if you can hear it, play it, and check it, and see if you were right. Now, granted, singing it is only going to be of some value, because let's face it, you can sing one note at a time. You could try to sing the entire arpeggio. That's going to be really hard. So what I'm saying is, so this is more or less, you have private access. My friend Ed Moody's term for something else in this, because I showed him this the other day too. So you have private access to whether you're right or not. You know, there's very little way for you to communicate this with a teacher whether you are right. So there's no, even if I were there with you, spying on you from the bushes, there would be no way for me to know if you were doing it right, you know, unless you were going to sing the arpeggio, which is not feasible. So, all right, 1. So you hear it in your head. 5. I did kind of sing the root there. 6. Can you hear it? Can you hear this 2? 1. Now, I know we're all particularly hearing the 3rd that's on top, you know, and that's fine. I think that might actually be a good thing. That might actually be the thing that helps push this home and really and really makes this method effective. That's perfectly fine. What you're in ear training for, right? I mean, there are various things for that benefits that accrue to you by being great at ear training. You know, I mean, being able to listen to a song and just be like, yeah, here are the chords, right? That's a very effective. That's a life changer, right? I mean, that changes. You know, being able to learn songs on the way to the gig because you listen to them. You know, I mean, that's a major boon in your musical life. There are other things. I mean, being on the bandstand and you're listening and learning the song that everybody else already knows. That's very, you know, it's very helpful for that, right? To me, the biggest thing though is, as I'm playing, what are these sounds in my head? Right? Can I hear, or the sounds in my head? Do my hands know where to go to get them? And I think that's what this. Whereas other methods of working on ear training maybe go the long way, and this is the final destination on that term. I think this is the first destination on this path. So can you? So all right, another version. You can hear me still questioning how to put this stuff right, because this is brand new, hot off the presses, right? Calibration, right? Pause, like when you're about to play it. By the way, you have to be armed. You have to be thinking the note number the chord number that you're playing. Chord names are irrelevant here. I mean, chord names aren't you're not, unless you have perfect pitch, which you would probably know already. I don't have perfect pitch, so whatever it is I can do, you know, is not at all predicated on any sort of inherent talent. In fact, I used to be bad at this, and now I do most anything with it. I remember back at so I did my first 2 years of undergrad at the University of Mississippi, I was a poli-sci major. But if you looked at my transcript, you'd say, "Oh, this is a music major." I was on an orchestra scholarship, and but I was also in the jazz band. as the guitar player, and it was interesting. And I reeked at jazz at the time. Reeked. This was so I transferred to University of North Texas after that and got better at jazz, but still wasn't anything so great. It took me several years after that to really for it to the extent that I'm decent at it now for it to really start settling. Um, but I remember there was this like nobody had the chord changes in their chart. So it's a big band, right? Full big band. Um, nobody had the changes on their chart for some reason. What the solo section changes were. Is a weird chart. And so John McCauley was the band leader's name. I don't know if he's still with us or not. I would guess not, but I've been surprised before, and I hope he is, and I hope he's living a wonderful life. But this was a huge impression on me. He was like, all right, bar one, beat one, everybody play your first note, and the whole band, all the horns, and I guess the bass player played, and he was like, all right, that's a G13 flat 9. You go on to the next one, blam, and he said the next one, he said the next one, he said the next one, and I'm like, what the freak? I want this power. Teach me to have this power, you know. And over the years, you gain the power if you're working with the material that you want to learn to hear, but also you have to be thinking of the numbers. You won't, unless you have perfect pitch, you won't learn to hear a G 13 flat 9 versus an A flat 13 flat 9. It's just not going to happen. That's not the way this thing works. And more importantly, you want to think numbers anyway. So you have to be labeling numbers. If you want to get really good at ear training sooner, any pop song you're playing, any whatever song you're playing, you need to convert them all to numbers in your head. You know, be thinking the numbers, even if you're looking at a chart that's chord names, or even if you're playing chord names, you're thinking G, you think that's 1 or 4 or whatever key you're in. You know how it works. So think numbers. You'll learn to hear numbers. You won't learn to hear note names. You'll learn to hear numbers because you're learning to hear a family of chords, the relationship between them. So, all right. So, all right. 6. Can you hear it? Check and see if you're right. By the way, let's say you're wrong and let's say you don't have it yet. That's fine. Stop here. See if you can do it like that, right? Play it. And then when you come back to it, see if you got it then. When you come back to it, see if you got it then. That's the point. That's what we're saying. We're calibrating your ear to hear it before you play it, right? And the times that you don't have it, no problem. No problem. The times that you don't have it, you're correcting your ear. Hey, here's what, so don't have it or you're hearing the wrong thing. Oh no, that's what 6 sounds like. Okay, 6. Okay, and then you're coming back. What does 6 sound like? Oh yeah, right? So you're calibrating it, you're correcting your ear over and over, but you have to be thinking the numbers. Then swap up the voicing. So I've been saying, those. Well, why not? Right? So 1, 6, 4, 5 in this key, right? So can you hear this? Can you hear this 4? Can you hear this 6? Now, I don't mean can you hear the exact voicing. You're looking to hear the overall flavor of the thing, right? So you don't have to hear the entire voicing, though you may get to where you can, right? So 1, and over time, especially if you're working with these with more advanced chords, 1, 6, 4, 5, flat 6. I can tell you what that sounds like. I can tell you what this sounds like, or this. As you're working with them, you'll be calibrating your ear, your mind's ear, right? So that's the game here. We're calibrating. Notice, just to reiterate what I just said, your failures at this and the number of them and how bad they are irrelevant. They're not a reason for you to stop. They're a reason for you to keep going. And you hear it wrong or you can't hear it at all. That's why you play it right after that. You're correcting it. You're only going to need so many times before you do start to hear this, right? Maybe change keys. Let's go to the key of C sharp. So 1, 6, 5, 4. I'm gonna try to not accident. I was accidentally singing. I accidentally sang the root there again. 1, 6, 4. It's just gonna be a doo-wop song. 2. And let's say you didn't have it that first time. That's fine. When it comes back, can you do it right now? You hear it? What's that sound like? You got it? What's this sound like? You got it? What's this sound like? The 6. By the way, if you're not used to seeing the chord numbers in relation to one another, go back to Since I'm Invisible number. There are several of them. They're around the 10 mark, episode 10 mark. I think they're maybe a little earlier and a little later, something like that. I think there's 3 episodes that really pertain to this. But that's you want to start learning to see the family of numbers together. So calibration, ear training, whatever. Chord calibration. I don't know. Ask about our name this lesson contest. So, yes. Also, I mentioned Ed Moody. I would like to thank him for changing my mind about tremolo placement. I have for years, I mean decades. The only tremolo that I mentioned on the gear video. There's a separate gear video in case you didn't watch it. In case you're only watching this series. I do these every once in a while. I'll do a one-off one. You probably know this, but the 14 of you who are following, and I'm doing the Fantastic Boom series. What makes this song great? GRATE. Still deciding whether to try to do Thursday mornings every time for that, or like last time I did a Friday night. I don't know. I maybe do. Tell me about this. Thursday morning, Tuesday morning. Since I'm Invisible. Thursday morning. What makes this song great? The songs of Fantastic Boom. I mean, that's going to have limited appeal, but anyway, chord calibration. Use different voicings from the same. So if you're pretty good at figuring out where to capo stuff. So here we're back in. So let's say I want to do like this. Here's my 1, right? My 2. Can you hear it? Can you hear this 3? 4. And also the first time, if you have no clue, that's fine. 6, 1, 4, 5. Just sit there and play them. So 1, 6, 4, 2, and then do it. All right. Can you hear this 2? Can you hear this 4? Can you hear this 6? And if you don't, that's fine. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. You'll get to where you can. I think this will work. And there's a thing about, I'm just going to say, I tend to, over the years, and I think this series is a fruit of that. What you're seeing is, in most of these idiosyncratic ways of teaching things, of thinking of things, there was a moment early on where I said to myself, I think this will work. And in all the ones so far, those are at least the ones that worked. The ones that didn't work, I think usually they go through some revision and they end up working, or a bail on them. I don't know. But I'm more often than not, I'm right about this. I think this should work. I think this is the path to a big ear training breakthrough for you. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I think this will work. So, word. So, yeah, other topics coming up. I was thinking about, there was one thing that I did, the way I learned to play fast was different than all the magazines were saying. It was the opposite of what all the magazines were saying growing up. Back then, you pretty much got your information about guitar, how to play guitar from the guitar magazines. Yeah. And I may do a video on that, how to play fast. In fact, I put it here on the list, how to play fast and exercise in heresy. because it's the opposite of what everybody says. I'm sure there are other people saying it now, but at least back then in the magazines, everybody was unanimous about how you get to where you play fast. And it did not work for me. And I would suspect it doesn't work for most people. And when I've showed people this, the way I did it over the years, I've noticed I think a higher than average rate of success among people getting some chops. So maybe I'll do that. So it might not apply to everybody. You know, some of you probably can already just completely shred. So I'm sure a good number of you have better picking chops than I do, for example. So yes, I have some other stuff. What's the Holdsworth story? Oh yeah. Story time. I don't know. Yes, I think that's it. Let me know how it's going. Pick different keys. Uh, then later, you know, if you want to try it with recordings, you know, turn on a song and see if you can judge it, if you can say what the chords are. But I say maybe screw that for a while. You know, that's maybe that's that more traditional way of learning it. I have a suspicion this will work better. So, okay, bye. I'm gonna see if I can turn it off with my guitar. I don't think that's gonna work. Doesn't it need finger pressure? Okay, yeah, I guess so. All right, bye.